I think we're very focused on having differentiated products within our brands that can stand out in the categories that they participate. So for those that don't know, Betty's Eddies is, our number one edible brand. It's number one in most markets that it participates. Its products are fruit chews and caramel today. And we'll continue to expand that line. Effects-based, all-natural fruit chews. In-house is a more of a value segment brand. So the majority of our brands, Pablo, sit on the premium side of the aisle, the premium price segment side of the aisle. And in-house is one that sits kind of the middle of the road and allows a good price point, good value for the consumer. So that plays on the flower side, the pre-roll side, the vape side, and the gummy side of the world. So it allows us to compete with really anybody on the value side, and we believe it's higher quality than really almost anything else out there. Bubby's Baked, so premium cookies and confections. Delicious, soft baked. So a lot of what we saw out in the market when we did our research was, most of these companies have hard, stale cookies. So, the whole differentiation of that product set is soft baked, right? Fresh, soft baked cookies. So we're really paying attention to, when things are produced and when they're actually going to be consumed on the shelf. And then we got Vibations. Vibations is another innovative product. I like to describe it as liquid IV meets cannabis. So it's a great way to have drinks on the go. It's a much more cost-effective way than buying the ready-to-drink cans for $5 or $6 a piece. So Vibations is a much more cost-effective and discreet way to have beverage on the run. And last but certainly not least, Nature's Heritage. And Nature's Heritage is our canopy brand for flower and pre-rolls and infused pre-rolls and concentrates and vape. And it's really our everything flower brand, premium brand, beautiful look and feel to the brand, highly supported with marketing efforts and activations within market. New products coming. So, a couple new things that just recently launched. Very successful launch around Betty's Caramel up here in Massachusetts. People are raving about it. It's a vegan caramel. It was one of our original products from about 10 years ago. So we're bringing it back, which is exciting, and it'll be available in all of our markets in the next 2 to 3 months. And then a very new innovative product coming out of Nature's Heritage, something called Microdose. So think 1906. For those of you out there that know 1906, 1906 is a swallowable pill. So similar to a Tylenol or an ibuprofen, but they're effects-based. So our Microdose product line comes out of Nature's Heritage with all natural ingredients in a pressed pill with mushrooms. So, think about functional mushrooms, cordyceps and, lion's mane and all those types of things, non-psychoactive mushrooms combined with cannabis to elicit effects in a swallowable pill. And so that comes to market here very shortly, and we're very excited about the Microdose launch. I think when we start to talk about wholesale and brands and the MariMed moat, we first got to address, some of the retail delivers margin for our business in our vertical markets. But long-term value for our investors and for our shareholders, we believe is really going to be around our brands and really the CPG end of our business. The strongest brands and not necessarily the largest retail footprint. So our primary focus, in addition to having great retail experiences in stores, is really, creating a brand portfolio that's second to none in the industry, and that really strives to be number one in each one of the categories that the products and brands participate in. Exciting opportunity for me personally, and I think for the company as well, with aligning really sales, marketing, and research and development all under one leader within the company. So, we're really excited to get more value out of each three of those pillars and get those groups working more closely together around data insights and moving more quickly when we see opportunities. Real passion around the wholesale sales side of this business. I think it's and it's an exciting place to talk about. So, it all starts with hiring great people. We've got a fantastic pool of talent on the wholesale side of our business. Really starting with our wholesale leader, Kevin Campagna. and a new role around the partnership side of our business that's helping us with reciprocity and really partnering with more key companies across the markets, and that's Luke Shepter. So there's key talent and key positions, and continuing to build out a culture that reflects those folks. So very proud of the people that we're bringing in on the sales side. I would also say, part of the unification of sales and marketing coming together, our brand ambassadors are also second to none. And last year I think the number was they reached 50,000 consumers. So that BA in sales, that brand ambassador and sales team is the 1-2 Batman and Robin punch that are really leading, our entry and our, I don't want to say dominance, but our control with each one of these wholesale markets. We're building out the best stores in each one of these markets, and we're making sure that, our brands are well displayed and creating good velocity within the stores. The brand ambassador role that I'm talking about is more so in-store promotion. So in-store activation, in-market events, and really making sure that the bud tenders in each one of our stores are educated on our products, feeling loved by our company, and feeling supported, that they have everything they need to sell our products. And we pride our products on differentiation, whether that's Betty's or Bubby's or Nature's Heritage. We do believe that products have to differentiate themselves in a crowded market, and I think wholesale success, really does illuminate that ability to succeed. So the differentiation of Betty's, why is it different and better than some of its competitors? It's a taffy. There aren't a lot of taffies out there. Out of the taffies that are out there, I don't know of many that are wrapped like a saltwater taffy. Once you get to that platform, a saltwater taffy, platform, then you make it vegan and gluten-free. You color it with fruits and vegetables. You give it some innovative effects. We were one of the first sleep products in the United States. I think we're one of the first pain management and sleep products in the United States. So continuing to innovate on a platform that's already differentiated and innovative. And then finally, I'll say, leading to consistent effects that are affected and trusted by our customers. So we get a really effective word of mouth spread with that brand by being consistent and trusted by our consumers. Occasion effect-based stuff, I think we're just starting to see it. We see it in other CPG brands at CVS, and I think some of those trends are popularizing. You take a look at Poppy Soda just selling to Pepsi for 1.5 billion or more dollars. I mean, that brand was nothing 3 years ago, and they innovated on soda. So I think creating innovations in products and following what's happening outside of cannabis and inside of cannabis and blending those two worlds. So I'm still excited about beverage. I'm excited about effect-based, occasion-based products, and I'm very excited about the role that minor cannabinoids are going to play in this whole thing, and how they're going to enable new effects to really come to life for our consumers.
Massachusetts, obviously, your home base, seems to be one of the most price competitive. Some people say if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Talk about the dynamics there and how are you succeeding in that state?
Sure. Yeah, I would say by far, Pablo, Mass is definitely the most competitive market that we operate. It wasn't always this way, but it certainly has morphed into that. Depending on who you talk to, prices have started to stabilize in some of the categories. I think with some of the categories still having the ability to go down a little bit. Through all the pain of the price per unit falling in Mass over the last several years, we've held strong. This is home base for us, so this is our backyard, and we take pride in our ability to go market here, and we do have number one positions in most of the categories, and opportunities in a couple others to continue to grow. But we're a major player here in Massachusetts. We'll continue to be. We'll come out of this fog that is the fog of war in Massachusetts, and we'll be one of the winners, and we're very confident of that. I think prices, depending on who you talk to, may be stabilizing. It's an interesting time of the year to talk about price stabilization right before 420. Seeing both sides of the business, I see wholesale and retail, so I see how we buy on the retail side, especially in Massachusetts. And the deals that are out there right now are lower than we've ever seen them. So when we talk about price stability, I look at, when deals are coming our way, what do they look like? And they're looking deeper than they have before. So we'll continue to see, this stabilization take place, through the next several months. And I think I do see, as some of these operators leave the market, we do believe there's going to be a vacuum and an opportunity to seize that share. And that is the intention.
Thank you. Let's talk about Illinois. You started selling vapes and edibles, I think about a year ago, and launched flower recently. That state has been rec for more than 5 years. Just tell us, how is it working out for you so far, and is it difficult breaking into a market, at such a later stage?
Yeah, thanks, Pablo. Illinois is a great market. Very successful cannabis market. A lot of cannabis consumers, a big market, good number of mature stores, some of the largest, most mature operators in the country, right? Most of the MSOs, a lot of the big ones are based there. So they've got a real foothold. We've had a relationship with a lot of these MSOs for a long time. I would say that, our relationships have helped us open doors in the state of Illinois, maybe sooner than some others. And, we've use those relationships and that ability to grow as quickly as we can. We're growing through both our MSO, footprint, as well as, some of the newer operators there, and some of the existing non-MSO operators. So I would say it's a really healthy, group of customers that we're building out, not necessarily just MSO or any one category in general. Yeah, I mean, I think the headline for me about Maryland is Maryland loves MariMed brands. Maryland really loves our brands. Our brands have flourished there. Betty's, I think, has won the #1 edible from a couple of their different award groups there several years in a row. And so, Nature's is a very well established brand down there. Bubby's, Vibations, all very, very well established brands. And I think, other than how well we've done there, the unique part about Maryland is the high dose market there is very healthy, almost more healthy than it's more healthy than any of the other markets that we operate. So there's a very active high dose consumer in Maryland that loves Betty's high dose, loves Bubby's high dose, loves Vibations high dose. So it gives us a little bit extra, a little bit extra momentum on the sales side to sell additional SKUs that sell at the volume and velocity they do in Maryland.
And regarding Missouri, I think you just started your kitchen operations there, selling wholesale. You don't have retail in Missouri. How is that state going for you so far?
It's going good. It's going really good, Pablo. I'm very excited about Missouri and Illinois, for that matter. We just hired a rock star sales leader that's going to manage both states for us and build out the team there. We've already got a couple really good reps and solid brand ambassadors. So now we've got a really, really solid, leader on the top, which is our recipe for success in these markets. So I'm very, very excited about the team we have, and that's where it starts. And I think we've broken into some of the larger groups in Missouri, and we continue to have some large groups in our crosshairs. And I think we're having all the right discussions with some of the largest players there to get our products in their door. So I feel really good about Missouri. Delaware, for those that don't know, was our first managed business. So, when MariMed Advisors first started years and years ago, Delaware was our first client. And we managed their business for years. It has now become wholly owned by MariMed earlier this year. And the operation there is fully vertical, Pablo. So it's got 2 retail stores, full cultivation and processing. They were the first, First State Compassion was the first licensed producer in Delaware and also the largest. So we enter, what will be a rec market in Delaware later this year as the largest player, in that market, and we're looking to obviously capitalize on that opportunity. We've got a store in Wilmington, Delaware, right downtown, and then we've also got a store in Lewis, by the beach.
So Ryan, thank you for all that. Again, congratulations to you and the MariMed team. So any closing remarks or anything you want to add here?
Yeah, Pablo, appreciate the opportunity. I would say, I'm not investor relations, but I obviously know investors will be, watching this, and that those folks are likely just as frustrated as we are with our share price. But at the same time, I hope you see how much trust, loyalty, and market share that we've gained, and I'm really confident that at some point here the public markets are going to catch on and start to understand, that brand awareness and this brand expansion matters, and these consumers will continue to look for these brands in the future.